Hi everyone, welcome to Spirit World Insights. I'm Jackie, and today we are talking about a topic that has been lingering around, working its way in and out of our consciousness for the past at least 3 years, if not longer. It just depends on who you are and when you started to be privy to all of these words. My guides came to me yesterday and said, hey, we're going to talk about this again, because those of you that have been watching me since 2012 when I started making videos, I have talked about this before, but this time they really want to expand and break it down in order to bring through some information that might help those of you that still have questions and concerns about what might really be going on. Some of this will resonate immediately with you guys. You'll be like, yep, I already know that. Some of you might hear information that you've never heard before, but it's going to resonate. Some of you are going to hear information that does not resonate and that you've never heard before, but it might later. I'm just here to be a messenger to bring through some of this information in order to help you. So sit back and relax. It is a little bit longer video than normal because you can only cram so much knowledge into a short amount of time. So this one's going to be a little bit lengthier, but I took really good notes from my guides yesterday, and I'm going to try to stay on topic and make it as simple as possible. All right, so we're going to start with the word awaken. This is something that we've heard many, many, many times, and it might come in from people going, are you awake? And it's so funny because when you say like, are you awake? It's like, well, yeah, my eyes are open. I'm alert. Yeah. Well, what they're talking about is really two specific types of awakening. The first one that my guides want to bring through is about a global consciousness. Okay. And breaking that down a little bit is understanding that you can see that there is duality on this planet. Global consciousness of awakening is knowing that there is duality on this planet. Okay? Can't exist without it. You have to have both, all right, in order to have balance. Another global consciousness of awakening would be noticing that there are certain patterns, conditioned programs that have been brought onto humanity, and that there are different paradigms that are running that involve false beliefs. It's about understanding there are specific, let's call it elite corporations, like 6 to 8 of them, over the entire planet, and that they have specific agendas and strategies that are being played out in our timeline right now. And in those strategies, what they do is they create a new concept or a new idea or a new product, okay? And then after that, they create a diversion, a story, in other words, that will take you off of where you presently might be. Like, especially if you're in a state of peace and calm, they create a diversion that takes your mind to look at something else. And then what happens is after that, there's a trauma that will occur. Once the trauma has occurred, the diversion was to take you off so that all this other stuff can be put into place, because the fourth thing is the new idea that was started with, the new concept or the new product, is going to be the solution to the trauma that was created. So all of this is created by the elite corporations that are, again, having an agenda for power, for greed, for things like that. And they create a new idea, new concept, new product, whatever that might be. Then they create a diversion, and then there's a trauma, and then that product, that new idea is then the solution to the trauma. So for them, it's a win-win situation. For us, it can be very altering, okay? So that's global consciousness awakening, is to realize that that is a pattern that has been playing out for a very, very long time. Okay, the second kind of awakening would be a spiritual awakening, a spiritual consciousness, evolution, in other words. This is when you realize that we are multi-dimensional beings here on this planet having a temporary human experience. That's one of my favorite ways to describe understanding that you've got a spiritual awakening happening. You realize that you are multidimensional. What does that mean? Okay, multidimensional means that you understand that you are either a starseed, a light worker, an empath, that you have past lives, that you are not just a one-time born, die, and there's nothing after that. It's when you awaken to the fact that you are a spirit having a temporary human experience, and that sometimes you incarnate over and over again on Earth, but sometimes you come from other planets and other star galaxies and constellations, and sometimes you don't incarnate at all. Sometimes you just stay in spirit form and you help others. So other things that you might realize in your spiritual awakening is that you are one with nature, that your vessel that you are temporarily in is actually made up of all of the elements that the planet is made up of, and that you are completely connected. It's a beautiful thing if you haven't realized that yet. So that's an awesome one. Okay. Another thing is that you might start to recognize and understand the pollution that is going on with the planet. You actually start to be concerned about the planet. You start to realize that there is a human separation between nature and humanity that is being placed again from the corporations. And you realize that let's see, what else did they say? Oh, this is interesting. So they wanted me to also share with you, and this is a really interesting concept that I actually just went deeper into with my guides recently, because the topic came up. When you are a spirit, like I said, some spirits incarnate and some don't. If you're in spirit form, not in any kind of form like matter, stuff like that, then you are unified with everything. You are unified with Source, Creator, God, whatever term you like to use. And there is no separation at all. It's only when you incarnate that you actually end up feeling some type of separation, or you start to realize that there is duality, right? That was new for me, because I kept getting confused with, well, why is it sometimes that they're talking about free will and feeling separate from Creator, and then sometimes you're not? And my guide said, because if you're in spirit form, you know that you're not separated, but it's only when you're incarnated that you have that free will comes really into play, and you realize that you are sensing separation. You're not separated, but you're sensing it when you're incarnated. The other thing when you have a spiritual awakening is that you see death as going home. And I think that's a real important part of this, because as humans, we are so instinctively bred we're kind of like hardwired for survival. And so a lot of people, again, if they're not spiritually awake, they see death as, they don't even know what's after. There's a confusion, or it's almost like what they show me is like a disconnection. But when you're spiritually awakened, you realize that death is you going home. You're going back to where we all started from and where we all go back to. And here's the thing, with the spiritual or with the awakening, you can, whether it's the global or the spiritual, you can be one or the other, or you can be both. Okay. All right. So that's the first topic. That's the awakening. Now we're going to talk about dimensions, because this might be another thing that you're hearing. But my guides kind of went a little deeper into explaining a little bit about the different dimensions. So our norm on this planet for a very, very long time has been 3D, third dimension. And the things that go along with third dimension would be understanding and feeling on a regular basis the chatter in your head, which is why I have calm the chatters, because you need to calm that chatter, which is the ego. I call it the narrator because it never shuts up. The ego mindset, okay? Also with third dimension is being very tunnel visioned with 5 senses. Anything beyond what you can see, feel, hear, smell, taste, touch is a myth to you, okay? If you are solid in 3D, then anything beyond the 5 senses is a myth. It also has to do with being conditioned, being programmed to, again, the society things that are coming from these very large corporations. You're also very connected to the carbon form and material based parts of this planet. It's about what you can see, feel, hear, taste, everything that your 5 senses take in, which is carbon, which is form and material. And if it's not like that, if it's something that you cannot utilize with those 5 senses, then you're struggling with it. Also, third D is duality, having limited mindsets, that you only have a limited capacity, and then also the separation, especially feeling separated from Creator. Okay. Even there, my guides are even throwing in right now that people feel a separation from their higher selves. I remember speaking with a client one time that was asking me how I knew that we had higher selves. They were like, how do you meet your higher self? So, feeling, again, it's being so 3D, it's a separation that is there. So, okay, so that was a norm. All right. Now, though, we are basically in transition from 3D to 5D. So we can kind of, they're all going on at the same time, basically. But you can say that if you're in 4D, then you're bridging to 5D. So 4D is about being the observer. It's about going into a higher perspective, being able to see new options and opportunities, and it is like a bridge. 5D is what we're moving into, and 5D is like an aerial view. It's knowing that it's a mindset of knowing that you're unified with everything, being able to tap into the 6 senses, being able to tap into that third eye, that pineal gland. If you have to have form and substance, the pineal gland is scientifically proven to be in there, but that pineal gland is what opens up our spiritual consciousness and connection to self, giving us that 6th sense, and knowing from there that we are limitless. Okay, that we are fully connected with our Creator, that we are fully connected with Mother Earth, that we are fully connected with the cosmos and the universes that are out there. Yes, plural universes, not just one. And that we are limitless in our ability to thrive. Okay? I love to describe the 3 dimensions like this. This is my analogy. I use a pool. If you're in a pool and everyone and their families, everybody is in the pool. Everybody is in the pool. It's a cluster, right? It's chaos, and you can only see what is right around you. Like if you're spinning in a circle, you can only see what's around you. You can't see on the other side of the pool. You can only see what's around you. I like to see 3D like that because it's very limited. I think of 4D as getting on the diving board. Just take a little bit higher perspective, because once you're on the diving board, if it's about 3 or 4 feet above the pool, then you can actually maybe even see the other side of the pool, right? You're going to see things, new opportunities, other people that you haven't seen before. 5D is like taking an aerial view. You can see the whole pool. You can see the neighborhoods around it, that there are stores, that there are buildings. I mean, it's the highest consciousness available to us on this planet, and it is incredible what you're capable of once you can get out of the chaos, out of the pool. Okay. Another thing that my guides wanted me to kind of explain is where you might be emotionally. It's kind of like, well, they're kind of like saying physically, mentally, and emotionally, what state you're in, what you might be thinking, depending on what dimension that your consciousness is in at that moment. If you're in a 3D consciousness, then your mind is very apt to say, I feel pain. That's just an example. I feel pain. That's 3D. When you go into a 4D consciousness, it's I sense pain. I'm picking up on it, because it might not be mine. Okay, that's where the empathic starts coming in. And then 5D is, it's not mine. I am picking up on something that isn't mine. Or it's something I'm sensing, but I don't have to take ownership of it. I can let it process and move through me back to source. Okay, so that's different things that you might be thinking depending on what dimension. And I will say this, you get to choose what dimension you're in. It is literally a choice, because we have free will while we are incarnated on this planet. We get to choose what dimension at any moment in time that you want to be in. And that's why I tell people, I'm like, look, your emotions do not define you. Your will defines you. Your will makes the choice of what you choose to think, be, act, do at the time. All right, let's talk about ascension. So now we're going to talk more into what does this ascension actually mean. And these are just a few examples. So the ascension, because I asked my guides this question yesterday. I was like, so who's in charge of the ascension? Like, why is it all, why now is the earth being asked, chosen to go through an ascension? I was like, is that coming from Creator? And my guide said, no, not really. And I was like, well, where's it coming from them? And they said, it's actually a universal decision. It's coming from the universe saying that it is time for this planet to raise its consciousness, which again, when we talk about awakenings, the planet can do it too, and we're doing it with her. And it's allowing the planet to actually raise its vibration. And this is for healing. Okay, well, not only does it heal the planet, but it heals humanity as well. Because anytime we move from a limited, separated state into a limitless, unified state, you're expanding into healing. All right. One of the reasons that I know for me is very evident on why this earth deserves, that's the right word I'm getting, deserves the ascension, is because humanity on a collective level, knowing or unknowing, okay, has been polluting it so much that we're on the brink, we're in a timeline of destroying Gaia. And that's never gonna happen. Okay? Never gonna happen. That might be something you've never heard before. And for those of you that have never heard that before, yeah, that's not gonna happen. Because Gaia is way higher in a consciousness of vibration that, let's just say there have been lots of opportunities in the past, right? That this planet could have possibly been destroyed, but it was not allowed. Okay? There are things that intervene. And so Earth deserves this opportunity to ascend and to heal, restore. That's another word that's coming in, to restore. So the ascension is raising from 3D, third dimension, to 5D consciousness, okay? On a global Earth level and with humanity. And this is the first time ever that humanity and the Earth are allowed to integrate and do this together. It's what makes it so special. Okay. They wanted me to mention that in 2012 was it was almost like the kickstart to the ascension. And that was when a lot of people started waking up, especially if you're like starseeds and empaths, light workers. A lot of people started waking up around 2012. That's when I had my awakening as well. We're going to be moving again. We've got the capacity of holding 5D. So you will notice that there are some people in 3D, some in 4, some in 5. And sometimes you just bebop back and forth between them again, because it's your choice on what you're thinking, where your consciousness is. And so there's a new Earth and the old Earth simultaneously basically holding the same space, having access to the timelines. It is predicted that this Earth will be in full 5D by 2032. When I ask my guides about that, they say yes, it could happen sooner than that as well, but that as the timelines again play out, 2032. This is about adapting to a new movement to heal Gaia. This means that old paradigms are going to dismantle, all of those false beliefs are going to come down, and new ones are going to take over. They want me to talk about fear. There is no part of this that fear needs to reside at all. Because again, this is a positive movement. And because when we are moving into 5D, 3D things cannot hold space in 5D consciousness. Okay? That's why the dismantling has to happen. But there's nothing to fear about that, because all of these new things that are going to function in the new Earth are already being developed, or have already even been developed, some of it. And it's just going to kind of take over. Okay? So, yeah, this is interesting. I kind of talked about, I did talk about this already. I was like, because I had wrote down, why does Earth need to leave 3D? It's time. It deserves it. And moving into that space of being able to feel unified, imagine what type of earth this could be in doing so. Okay, let me see where they want to go with this now. They want me to remind you that as the old paradigms break down, again, that there are new paradigms that will come into play, but they said that the old paradigms, fear is the tactic to try to keep us in 3D, okay? But that's what those old paradigms are doing, is creating fear in order to try to hold humanity there. In order to know that there is something wrong, it has to be seen. A lot of these things that have been happening behind the scenes, not in human consciousness, not in view, that have been happening, we even say underground, okay? It's things that we just don't see normally, okay? Those things are being pulled out. It's like taking something out of hiding and making it shown, making it known, because you don't realize that something needs to be fixed unless you recognize it. That's the thing. I mean, here's the other thing. Like those people that are already functioning a lot of the time in 5D, they've already started waking up to this stuff. Like me, I didn't know that there were things going on underground, but I was dreaming about it. I was astral traveling because I work a lot at night doing what I do for Gaia. And I wake up going, what the heck was that? And it was like all this stuff that was going on underground. And I had, like, because I don't watch the news, I don't have a TV, I don't, like, that's not my thing. So I was like, what is going on? I had to talk to friends of mine that are in touch with, like, news things, and I'm like, what is this? Are you aware of like anything like this that's like underground? And they're like, oh yeah. And so people that are already in these higher states of consciousness are actually picking up on this stuff, even though it's not something, because remember I said if you're in 5D, you're not limited just to the 5 senses, you're picking up on your 6th sense. So it's just a knowing. It's like you can't even explain it, but it's, you know that you know that you know, and you don't know why you know, but you know. And once you know, you can't unknow it. And that's where we are, right? So anyway, so these things that we didn't know about that are going on, they start coming up to the surface because it lets us know, for those people that are 3D, it lets you know this is going on and this really needs to be healed. And that's when it starts to get addressed. And hopefully collectively, because right now it's, the collective is still like, woohoo, technology, AI. But I'm just like, you know, I'm over here holding space going, please let the collective like see that that can be utilized, but not in the direction that it's being pointed to right now. So, so again, in 5D, free will, here's the thing, you get to choose. You always get to choose. Those of you that are like, no, I love 3D, I love AI, I love technology, I love the fact that this planet is suffering. I mean, not to say that, I'm just being, you know, a little bit funny, but it's just I use this word very cautiously. It's an ignorance that you just don't know. You just don't, you're not privy to it. Or your consciousness, again, has not been stimulated and awakened spiritually yet, right? That you're like, what is she talking about? Why is there a problem with all of this? Those of you that are adamant, and again, this is all about free will and choice. You got to choose. We all chose to come to this planet. Again, that might be something for some of you. Most of the people that are watching this are awake, you know. But those of you that that don't realize that you chose to come here. You chose to incarnate at this time, to be here at this time. And some of you chose to stay in 3D because this is the experience that you wanted to have. And you will be able to stay in your 3D, okay, as long as this earth, until it makes its full transition into 5D. You'll be able to live out whatever your experience was that you wanted, okay? Because that's your choice. For those of you that are choosing to move into 5D and you move into the new earth, even some of you are going to choose to go home. You're going to be like, oh, all right, it's done. I'm ready. Let's get out of here. And let's go back to whatever your norm is. Maybe it's on a different planet or in another universe. But we all get what we want. We just, it's the concept of remembering what we wanted, and then how do we utilize that new knowledge to carry out and navigate our own journeys throughout this ascension. That was a nice way that they just put that. I haven't said it like that before, but I like how they channeled that. Okay. So, hang on one sec. I'm just like, okay. The other thing that they were talking about was, as the new earth alchemizes, really. We really start getting educated in these new concepts, new education. This is about the education system, the banking system, the governments, all of that kind of stuff will shift. All those are the paradigms I'm talking about that will be dismantled, and they are being rebuilt already. And I just want to applaud right here publicly on this video those of you that are a part of the new earth. The ones that are doing this behind the scenes right now, rebuilding the new concepts of how this plays out in a through a 5D consciousness. Because like I said, 3D things cannot thrive, live, support at all in 5D. So things have to transition. And through that transition, there are some beautiful, amazing changes that will take place on this planet. And I happen to know of a few people already that are developing these new education systems, it's kind of, this is the first time I think I'm saying this. It's actually exciting from a higher perspective to see people putting forth things that are going to really help humanity and this planet thrive together. Okay, that's what I wanted to say. I just applaud all of you that are listening to your heart's desire, your instincts, and these downloads that you're getting from your own spiritual guides that are helping you to develop these new technologies and things that are going to be in the new earth. Okay. Okay, they also wanted me to talk about this is just another topic that I have not mentioned before. And I'm just checking in with them to ask how do they want me to bring this in. So again, because of free will and because you have a choice on this planet of how you navigate this journey, some of you may know or some of you maybe not know until in a few moments when I say this, it might awaken you, that some of us have come here to bring this vessel that we are inhabiting onto the planet for a particular time, and then we're going to step out, and a higher consciousness, or just a different spirit consciousness, is going to step in. And some people refer to that as walk-ins, okay? I have always referred to it as step in and step out, but it's the same concept, okay? But there are some of us that have come in and we're getting a vessel prepared. But here's the thing, some of the, again, what was your choice? What was your agenda for coming to the planet? Whatever that experience, that value, that lesson, whatever it was to learn, some of us, it was to just temporarily be here and then step out so that another spirit can come in and move forward and get something else done. It's like utilizing one vessel with two different spirits. And this can be really beneficial because if there's, like, say you can tell that you're just tired and you're like, I'm ready to go home. This has been such a long journey and you're ready to go home. Some of you might be ready to go home, but the vessel that you're in is still fully functional and capable of going longer. And so you may have made a contract, a soul contract before you came here, that you're going to let another spirit occupy your vessel, so that you can go ahead and check out and go home and get on with whatever you want to do next. And the reason that's helpful is because some of these higher consciousness beings that are coming in, again, we're talking about a new earth, 5D. We have so much help already coming in from other beings, from other planets and universes, etc., that are helping us to make sure that the collective doesn't destroy the planet, right? Like I said before, there is intervening going on. And sometimes to have another spirit come in, it's one of those spirits that wants to be a part of the new earth. If your contract was not to be a part of that, and if you have made that contract for another soul to come in, that means that soul doesn't have to be born and go through all those years. They can come in a vessel that's already older, right? And okay, and then I know a lot of you are like, but you forget when you're born. Okay, well, this is what my guides have told me. It's not like that anymore. So in the 3D world, yes, you made an agreement to be born and to forget who you are and to forget your connection to source, which is why we have to awaken, because we forgot. But now I'm being told that a consciousness can step in and fully remember who they are and what their agenda is. Now, I will say for step-ins, they have to complete, like if that spirit that was in it, was in the vessel, was in the middle of something, they do have to kind of finish that out and then they can start their journey. But again, it's an agreement, and all my guides wanted me to say is that that is something that is going to play out, and it's going to happen more than we're aware of now. That it's actually going to be a lot more common that there will be people that will step out and these other spirits are going to step in and complete something. What else do y'all want me to say about that? Yeah, absolutely nothing to fear about that, because those of you that if I said that and it resonated and you're like, hold the phone, that makes sense to me. No fear, because it's like once you become privy to it, once you hear it and you know it and you resonate with it, it's peace. Overwhelming sense of, oh, now I get it. Now I realize why I'm so ready to go. Now I realize why I may have been having suicidal thoughts for so long. It's like those types of things start to make sense once you realize it's, again, those of you that if it doesn't resonate with you, it's because you're probably not going to be doing that. Okay. So I don't want to put any fear in anybody that says, oh, this could possibly happen to you. No, this would have been a contract done. And if it wasn't done beforehand, my guides are actually saying that it can be created if that's something that you've chosen. Again, because of free will, we make different choices all the time. And they don't want me to go full on into this right now. I can do that on a later date. But I just say I understand step in, step out very well. So we'll talk about that in another video at another time. But these are options. So you either stay in 3D until she's made her full ascension, or you choose to go into the 5D and you be a part of the new earth, or you choose to go home, or you step out and let another spirit step in. Okay. Now, if the collective were to choose to stay in 3D, then which I don't think that's going to happen. That's just my own personal. I don't think that collectively that we're just going to try to stay and pull and stay back into 3D. Then basically Gaia has a global reset, which she's done before. And okay. My guys, I'm like, that is what my guides wanted me to share with you. God, we're already at 42 minutes. Okay, again, a lot of information, trying to compact it as short as I possibly can. I only want to share a couple more things with you and then we'll be done. Again, no fear. This is just bringing about insight. And for some of you, if it doesn't resonate with you, no worries. It's fine. But those of you it will. And my blessings to you as you navigate where you are. Believe me, I didn't get all of this in 2012 all at one time. You know, from 2012 up until now, I have been learning, downloading, processing, you name it. It is a whirlwind, but it's amazing. Okay. Yesterday I was pulling cards because I wanted to have a better understanding of, for me personally, how I ought to see my journey that I'm putting into this planet, because I basically work for Gaia, and how to view humanity during this collective at this time. And the card that came up is like, you know, where should my mind be? I was like, where should my mind be? Because it can go off in a lot of different tangents because I'm empathic and I pick up on the collective, and that can be devastating. It can be very destructive. And so I'm like, where does my brain need to be right now? Because I'm picking up on way too many things it does not need to be. And I got, okay, this is Kyle Gray, Gateway of Light Activation, Oracle cards, and this deck, Heart of Source. That's the card. They're like, this is where your head needs to be. Get your head into this game. And I'm going to read it because Kyle Gray is amazing. He channels wonderfully. And it's beautiful. So I'm going to read this. All right. Heart of Source, all-encompassing love, unconditional acceptance and serenity. Who doesn't need that right now? Okay. The source of the universe is a gigantic heart. Its beats are angels and beings of light. It is what many call God. It's love that is beyond gender and dogma. It's the infinite experiencing infinity. It's all that is, was, and ever will be. It's love being love and expressing love. It's an energy that can be explained but never fully comprehended. It's where we have all come from and will all return. The strangest part of all is that we've never left. Even though we are spiritual beings having a human experience and may feel that Source is separate from us, the truth is that we're always connected, even when we feel that we're not. This gateway takes us not upward, but inward. It's the gateway that reminds us that through the stargate of our heart, we are connected to the heart of creation. Not only that, but we exist and express ourselves within that heart. Even though we may be on a planet Earth and experiencing Earth as a planet within a Milky Way, all of this and more is actually being expressed by the heart of Source. The vastness of this divine love is inexplainable, but it's who we are. It's perfect. Whenever you feel, wherever you might be, because whether you are awakened globally and spiritually, whether you understand the dimensions in which one you're possibly in, no matter what you know, remember about your own journey here, if you really want to just sink back into, where can I be? Where can I be in this moment, right here, right now? This is a beautiful place to be. And I love how Kyle said that. He says, when you're connecting, you can do it like this. Thank you, Source of love, for bathing me in your infinite light and for reminding me that I am one with all that is. Close your eyes. Mentally repeat after me. Thank you, Source of love, for bathing me in your infinite light and for reminding me that I am one with all that is. Breathing in, breathing it through you, and breathing out. All right, my lovelies. You know, and there it is. Okay, so thank you for listening, for watching, for processing with me today. I do hope that if you have any questions or concerns and you feel like you have no one to talk to about it, please don't hesitate to reach out. I am always open for doing private consults and sessions in order to help you help yourself. Know that you are surrounded constantly by a loving, supporting team, whether that's a soul family, soul tribe, angels, guides, spiritual guides, all of that, you know, constantly surrounded. So through the questions and concerns that we have, it's known. You're heard. You're sensed. You're felt. And there are answers. The answers come through the question, though. Okay? Yeah. It's a journey. No doubt about that. But I hope that this video, for those of you that did have some questions, that this was able to bring forth some information. And I'm not telling me like I didn't share everything. My guides just wanted to bring through some tidbits of information that might be helpful. So, okay. See if there's anything else that they want to say. thank you for being here. That's what they say. Thank you for being here through this incarnation. Yeah. They're like, we know, we understand. And they're like, and that's why we're here, to help you. Yeah. No one is meant to do this alone. We are a co-creation of this ascension. And we will ascend. Ooh, ooh, that's powerful. Feel that through my heart chakra. All right. Lots of love, everyone. Take care. Until next time. Bye.